Hello and welcome, it's Dougan here. We're back on the 30-day challenge and it's day 4 today. What we're going to have a look at today are the real steps that go relating to the stresses which make the changes inside ourselves. So we're going to start looking at them, and I've got a number of slides just to help you keep focused on what we're talking about. So the picture begins, as we talked about in the first 3 challenges. We talked about the business of the concept or belief or an idea. So it all begins with that. So in our picture we have a series of ideas or concepts or beliefs which are important to us. So these are things that we have really given some importance to. And sitting in the picture along with this is the pain body. It can also be the ego, or it could be the lesser self. So depending on what's happening, and I'll explain to you much more which one is relevant under which circumstances, but for the moment let's just begin very, very simple and actually begin at the place that we have a concept, an idea or a belief, and sitting out to one side we have the pain body and or the ego and or the lesser self. As we talked about in the first couple of videos, the very first thing that happens here in this picture is that some kind of trigger will come in and actually challenge or stimulate this idea or concept or belief. So we talked about yesterday the idea of a person who maybe is suffering a bit of depression or feeling low or something like this, and a challenge comes in, somebody questions their worth. So a trigger comes in around their self-worth. So the self-worth is the idea, and the trigger comes in, the person is behaving in such a way that they're not respecting you. Lo and behold, the very first thing that comes out of that is that there's a feeling. So there's a feeling actually arises when you consider this. So here we go, we've got the concept or idea or belief, we've got a trigger coming to it, and a feeling comes out of it. So we talked in our example yesterday, so we may as well keep it simple and keep working with that idea, is that I'm not worthy, I don't have sufficient worth. So this feeling of that comes out of that is that you feel very sad. You feel sad, and you're challenged in this way, and it just makes you feel extremely sad. And of course the obvious thing happens then is that the pain body and or the ego and or the lesser self becomes fed. So we have a situation where the pain body or the ego or the lesser body gets fed out of these feelings that have been created. So some really natural feelings are occurring inside yourself because you've got this idea that you're not very worthy, and somebody comes in and misbehaves in such a way that they're not showing any respect to you. Perhaps it's a child or a husband or something like that, and not providing sufficient respect to you. Next thing you know, you're feeling sad, and the sadness immediately goes off and feeds, actually nourishes the pain body and or the ego and or the lesser self. The very next thing you know is that the pain body or the ego or the lesser self, or all three of them together, are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So these factors within yourself, which are imaginary constructs, they're becoming bigger and bigger and stronger, and you begin to ask yourself the question, well, where were those ideas? How important were those ideas in the background, and what importance really are in the feelings? Because this pain body or this ego or this lesser self is becoming extraordinarily strong. The last piece in the puzzle is that as the pain body and the ego and the lesser self become stronger and stronger, then the very next thing you see is that there is an impact occurring with your body. So that impact that's occurring with the body could be in the area of mental, so in other words these sort of mental health things that we're talking about, but it can equally be actually occurring in the physical body. So the physical body could be feeling it and actually changing how it's operating. And indeed we know that so many of our diseases, the physical diseases, begin with this type of triggering. So it's a very common thing in my experience to see this occurring. And of course through all of this you're not feeling very well, so you've got a physical effect, you've got a mental effect, you've got all the stuff that's occurring around your mind, but in addition to that your ability to actually feel and how you're feeling are being diminished continuously. Okay, well look, that's the end of this video today. That's an awful lot of stuff there. What we're going to do in the following days is we're going to go in and we're going to zone in on one or other of these steps and actually just make sure that we can see how it's possible for us to actually go and head off the process at any one of these steps. So we have the opportunity to actually help ourselves and to develop ways that we can improve our situation at each of these steps. So that's what we'll be working with in the coming days. So thanks very much for watching the 30-day challenge, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Thanks very much. Bye.